This is On the Subject, the show discussing film, TV, and beyond, with your hosts Logan Noggle and Zachary Jackson, featuring Malcolm Russell Nelson. Everybody, go with the theme song.
All right, I'm Zach.
I'm Malcolm.
And today, this is our part 2 of Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Mission : Impossible, we should say.
Yeah.
It does indeed have a colon, which is important.
It changes movie to movie.
Yes,
right?
it does.
The posters.
Yes, it does.
M:2.
Yeah, -2.
Yeah.
Can't wait until it gets really complicated.
So this is the follow-up to De Palma's Mission Impossible.
Yes.
So this one is directed by John Woo.
Good
That's
old
from
John
the year
Woo.
2000.
Yep. Yeah, this movie is 18 years old now, which is crazy. Isn't that weird to think about? Like, because there's some shots in there, there's some scenes in there that don't look 18 years old.
I'd say most of them. Like,
Yeah.
especially the ones without the CG.
Yeah. It's just not as old as it could be, which is crazy to think about.
Do you think this or the first one aged better?
I think the first one aged better.
Really?
Yeah. You?
I think this one, but because with De Palma, he does a lot of sets instead of filming on location.
That's true.
And I think that ages poorly.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
But this one, the CG in it gets pretty rough in the beginning, especially.
Yes.
It's not
yes, it does.
a lot, though.
Yeah, it's not to an extreme amount, but it is noticeable. So yeah, this is John Woo directed this. The craziest thing is who wrote this. Do you know that those credits?
I know Robert Towne was one of the writers.
Yeah, so Robert Towne was the screenwriter.
Recredited.
Yeah, he was he's credited as the screenwriter, which Robert Towne wrote Chinatown, one of the greatest movies of all time. But the story comes from Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga, who are Star Trek guys. They are like movie Star Trek guys.
Oh, okay.
So that's crazy to think about. Like,
which ones did they work on specifically?
First Contact and Generations.
Okay.
I mean, Brandon Braga is he's a longtime Star Trek guy. He's done some of the TV shows and stuff too. But
I know.
And then this is Ron Moore, like Battlestar Galactica, Ron Moore.
Yeah, and Outlander.
Yeah, an Outlet. Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy. They came up with the story for this sort of movie.
So the story, like when you get down to the bare bones, it is so very basic. That's one of my biggest problems.
Yes, it is just incredibly basic story. I will agree.
Yeah, because it's just the bad guy is like evil Ethan Hunt, and he has this thing that he wants to sell for a bunch of money. It's stupid.
So okay, I'm just gonna get into it now. I think this movie is the perfect Pierce Brosnan Bond movie. It is not a Mission Impossible movie.
I agree.
Like it has so many elements of GoldenEye and all of the other ones put together. Like it's the bad guy version of Ethan Hunt. It's like even the villain plot is like, okay, we're gonna steal this dangerous, crazy, like chemical thing that's gonna make everyone sick, and then we're going to manufacture the cure and then sell the cure because we want stock options. like it is all just a Bond movie. And that's why I have a big problem with it. Like, it does not fit in the Mission Impossible sequence at all.
But Like I see, I think the future ones are more Bond-like. A couple of them, the most recent two specifically. This one just feels like very contrived.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just bad spy stuff.
It's just bad spy stuff. That's exactly
stuff you would find in a generic like dime store novel or a comic book.
Exactly. This one's super comic booky.
It is. Okay, so I only recently found out that apparently John Woo wanted this to be like a hard R.
Yeah.
And with that mindset, going into watching it, I totally understand why the action scenes suck in this.
Yes. It makes complete sense. I think most of the action scenes suck. There's like one that I really like.
There's one that I kind of like, and it's when he's breaking into the place, like he's doing his impossible mission.
I think the action scene after that really works.
Which one?
The
when
like
he's breaking in?
when he's got to get out of there. I think that whole sequence works pretty well, just not for this movie. But like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
I adore that sequence. I think it's awesome, and it's the most John Woo sequence in the whole movie. Like that's the one where it's like, oh yeah, this is John Woo, right?
So, this movie.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into what it is, I guess.
So this time around, Ethan Hunt is contacted by the IMF while he's on vacation.
Yep.
And he
climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
The first of the really big Tom Cruise stunts in any of these movies.
Yes. What started all these.
This is the one that started all of them. Yeah.
Which I can appreciate.
Yes, absolutely.
So he's hired by the current IMF director, which is Anthony Hopkins.
Uncredited.
Is he uncredited?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's weird.
Because like every time he showed up, I was like, I think that's Anthony Hopkins, but I know that Brendan Gleeson is in this, and he sounds a little bit like Brendan Gleeson. Like, I was like, no, it is Anthony Hopkins, right? And I had to look it up, and I was like, oh yeah, he's not credited apparently. Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
He's in the movie.
He's in the movie in 2 scenes. Like, but I mean, they did the same thing with Tom Wilkinson in Ghost Protocol.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I don't think he's credited for that.
Weird.
Right? Right? It's weird.
Yeah. So he's hired by the IMF to
his mission. He chose to accept this mission.
Yeah. He has to recover a cure. So he has to recover the cure and a virus.
Yes.
Called
Chimera and Bellerophon.
Yeah. It's based off the Greek myth.
Yes.
And the person who stole it is a rogue IMF agent named Sean Ambrose.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins tells him he can pick a team of 3. 2 of them are his choice, but the third has to be this super thief named Nia Hall.
Yes.
So the first quarter of the movie or so is him recruiting Nia.
Can we talk about that scene? The scene where she's trying to rob the thing? Because that is the most James Bond scene in any movie I've ever seen.
That's very James Bond.
And it's specifically very Pierce Brosnan and James Bond. Where they're at this party in Spain, and she goes upstairs into the executive bathroom or whatever of this house to break into this safe that's in a panel of the tub. And while doing that, Ethan Hunt shows up right behind her, and then he helps her out a little bit with it. And then some guy walks into the bathroom, and so they both duck into the tub. And so he's on top of her in the tub. And then she's like, do you mind if I'm on top? And he's like, no, I don't mind. And then they switch positions. And then she leans up and tries to crack into the safe while she's like straddling his face. Like, it's the weirdest scene.
It's really weird.
It's really weird. Like, and he's like, no, I didn't do anything. Like, this was all you. This was your idea. Like, and it's like, it only works because he's really playful Tom Cruise in it, which I always get a kick out of, but the scene doesn't work. Like,
no.
Also, that's Tandy Newton plays Nia Hall, and she looks 12 in this movie.
She does.
Like, it is distracting how young she looks in this movie. It's weird. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. It's gross.
Yeah. We'll get back to that. Yeah, so he recruits her, and then he finds out that the whole point of recruiting her is to get close to Ambrose and figure out, like,
because they used
where the
to
virus
date.
and the cure are. Yeah. That's the basic plot.
Now, this is after the whole robbery scene, they hook up, and then they decide that they're in love with each other.
Hey, wait. Let's take a couple steps. So after the robbery scene, there's a scene where they're on the road together in different cars.
Oh man, where the cars smash together and they both look like cross-cut, look at each other.
They're like dancing in their car. It's bonkers.
It's so weird. Movie's so weird.
So much slight slow motion in this movie.
Yes. There's way too much. Way too much.
It's more in the first half too.
No, there's a good amount in the second half. don't
like, it's during
that.
the action scenes.
Yeah.
But it's like almost all during the action scenes. In the first half, it's everything.
That's true.
Like,
everyone gets a slow-mo moment in the first half. Everyone.
It's that's like every scene gets a slow-mo moment. Like when he's in Spain and he first sees her, there's like this group of dancers in between them, and they're just like staring at each other, walking around the dancers, and it's sort of slow motion. It's strange. And then there's the car scene, which is slow motion for parts of it. And then for some reason, after the car scene, they decide to just hook up.
Yep.
It's weird.
Because why not? Yeah.
It's one of the most forced relationships I've seen.
Yeah.
In like
they shove it down our throats so hard. Like, and then every scene that they share together is like star-crossed lovers for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, there's
like the scene at the racetrack, like where he's like, "Don't turn around," and then she turns around, and is like, "You turned around."
You turned around. She's like, "Are you gonna spank me?"
Yeah, it's so weird, so weird. Like, and it doesn't help again that she looks 12.
So I think my number one problem with this is the use of Tandy Newton. She's essentially just an object in the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Her relationship with Hunt is so forced. Like, I feel like there are scenes missing, which, like, there's rumors that 80 minutes of this movie were cut.
Really?
And I can see that.
Oh, God. 80 minutes?
I have no idea if it's true. Yeah.
No,
so
that's a nightmare.
They wanted to make like a 3-hour hard R spy movie.
Jesus Christ, that's a nightmare.
That's just a thing I heard, so I don't know how true it is.
I hope it's not.
Well, I feel like this is one of the rare cases where it might actually help.
It might.
It's just this movie's so boring.
It's really boring. Like, it's so boring. Like Sean Ambrose is not an interesting villain. Like, honestly, his henchman, his weird, creepy henchman, is way more interesting.
Yeah. What is that guy's
name? Hugh? Is it Hugh?
Yeah, Richard Roxburgh.
Yeah, like he's kind of awesome because he's really creepy. Also, I actually have that in my notes. I think Ambrose and Hugh really need to hook up. There's that.
Yeah, he seems like a jilted lover.
Yeah, first off, he acts like a jilted lover the entire movie. But there's that scene where like Hugh intimates that that Naya is there for a reason, like that she's working for the IMF or something. And Sean's like in his bathrobe like the whole time, right? And he's like chomping on the cigar, like he's clips the cigar with the cigar clipper, and then he like bends Hugh's arm back and puts his finger in the thing. Yeah. And like they're like up close together, like panting together. And it's super homoerotic. Like the whole time, it's like, wow, they belong together. Like those two dudes, they could have it all.
His whole crew is very strange to me.
Yeah. Remember when Dominic Purcell's in one scene?
He's in like 3.
And he gets a credit?
Yeah.
Also, he has a lot of hair, and that's really distracting too.
He has a lot of hair.
He's
way smaller.
Yeah.
Too.
It's weird. I forgot how small he used to be.
Yeah, because he's at least in the plane scene in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
think he's in the
right.
cockpit.
Yeah.
Or something. And he's at the heist where they steal the virus.
Chimera.
He's in the car chase because he's in the car that gets hit by the semi.
Yeah, you're right, which is awesome. I love that car gets hit by a semi and it breaks in half and explodes. It's a really funny 21 Jump Street joke where like they keep waiting for a car to explode and then it's like the car with all the chickens in it.
There's that scene right after that when the other car explodes and flips on top of like 5 other cars. Yeah. I thought all of those were gonna domino and explosions. Everything was exploding.
Everything explodes. Yeah, it's weird. It's super exciting though. Yeah,
let's get back to Dougray Scott.
So Dougray Scott. This is my favorite Hollywood story. Is the fact that Mission Impossible 2 ran so long in its filming that Dougray Scott had to pass on being Wolverine in the first X-Men movie, which, as we're recording, came out 18 years ago yesterday.
Crazy.
That's gross, right? Like, is that not offensive or what? What the what? So he had to skip out on being Wolverine. Now, Wolverine would have been a game-changing like role for him. Like this was at the time where you think Dougray Scott's gonna explode, and I don't think he's a good enough actor.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's a game changer for him because Wolverine got so popular not because of like the writing.
No, you're right. It's because of Hugh Jackman. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's like 90%.
But I mean, they clearly thought he had something for that role because he was cast in that role.
Like, yeah, well, if you compare them, like 2000 Dougray Scott to 2000 Hugh Jackman, they're very similar looking. Yeah. They have like same stature.
Yeah, like the hair is pretty much the same. I noticed that in this.
Yeah,
which we're gonna come back to hair in a minute.
So I can see why Hugh Jackman got the role after him. They're very similar. Yeah. So I'm curious what would have happened.
Right? It's weird. Like I just don't think he's a very good like it's funny that like this was the role that like he was willing to lose that for. Like it's not a good role. Like he's really gross in half of it. And like he's really bad in the other half.
On paper, I think it's the better role. Because it's got a higher profile director. It's got a bigger budget, probably a bigger paycheck. You're with Tom Cruise, like the movie star.
The movie star at the time. That's a good point.
Everybody else in X-Men is like theater actors and stuff.
Yeah, everybody in X-Men's nobodies.
Yeah. It's like on paper, he made the right choice. He's just wasn't good enough to continue.
Yeah. Man, like,
I mean, like he's been in a ton of stuff. He's just forgettable.
He is really forgettable in everything. Dougray Scott's just not a great actor.
Do you remember his Netflix show, Hemlock Grove?
No. Oh, was he in that? I haven't even seen that. Was he in that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird because it's him and Famke Johnson.
Yeah.
It's the would-be Wolverine and Jean Grey. Wow.
It's a bad show, and he's a bad part in it.
That's crazy. I didn't even know.
His first name is actually Steven.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I see now. Ugh. Ugh. Gross. So going back to hair, let's do a really quick rating. What would you rate Tom Cruise's hair in this movie?
Okay, so before I rewatched it, I would rate it at like a 3, but now I'd give it like
absolutely
9.5.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. The best thing about rewatching this movie was watching that hair, especially how they use it in the slow-mo.
Yeah.
It is glorious in every shot. And it's funny because so this was the first Mission Impossible movie that I had seen.
Yeah.
Like ever. And I saw it when it came out and I did not like it. I was like, that was not good. And I always attribute long-haired Tom Cruise to this movie. So I remember when the trailers came out for Ghost Protocol, I was like, he's got that Mission Impossible 2 hair. That's not good. And I was really nervous. And then, Ghost Protocol comes out and it's one of the best.
I had the exact same thought, but for Rogue Nation, because he's got the long hair and he's on a motorcycle.
Oh, you're right. Because Rogue Nation has that really good motorcycle scene.
So I was like, oh no.
It's funny how young Tom Cruise looks in this too. Like he looks pretty close to being the same as he does now, but he just looks a little smaller. Yeah, and it's weird.
He's he's still fit, but he's not as bulky as he is a little bit later.
Yeah.
Especially when he's doing the rock climbing scene, and he does the thing where he's like, his arms are twisted.
Yeah, his arms like twisted. Yeah,
it's really skinny there. It's weird.
He looks really lean.
Yeah,
exactly. What do you think about the? It's funny because I think on the last episode we mentioned there's a lot of mask reveals on this.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's funny. I think each one works, but not all together. So I think like the first mask reveal is pretty cool. The one on the plane, the plane heist scene is pretty awesome, actually. The movie starts off and here's this doctor who created Chimera and Bellerophon, and he's on the plane with his buddy Dimitri, who's Tom Cruise, and then there's a bit in there where Tom Cruise leans over at him and says, you keep calling me Dimitri. And he's like, you shouldn't. And he pulls off his mask. And it's really cool, even though it's Doug Gray Scott underneath. And so that kind of ruins it. But it doesn't work with how many mask reveals are. Like later on, there's 2 mask reveals in a matter of a minute.
Does he take his mask off before he kills him or after? I think
it's after. It's after.
Yeah.
It's after. Yeah.
Yeah. The double mask reveal in the middle is strange to me.
Like that is weird.
I like it on Ambrose's side.
Yeah, I like it on Ambrose's side more. Like I think that one actually works.
Yeah, like the Brendan Gleeson scene is really just
it's out of nowhere.
I like the idea of them like tricking him into explaining everything and then recording his voice when he says his full name.
Yeah, like that's cool.
Like the execution of it is.
My name is John C. McCloy, and I'm in the business of making money. It's a great line. Like, it's just the scene doesn't work. It's odd.
Strange.
Yeah, it's really odd. But yeah, no, I agree. The one on Ambrose's side works, where he pretends to be Ethan, and
he tricks.
He tells Naya like, "No, you have to stay." Like, and you have to do whatever he says, and then he pulls off the mask, and it's the best bit of acting crying. I think you get from Doug Gray Scott in the whole movie.
For sure.
Where he is wrecked, like he is so unhappy.
Okay, so I haven't seen anything with him in it in a long time. For the most part, I do like parts of him in this, like that. I like in the first scene when he's on the plane and he takes off the mask, like that.
Yeah.
He does the creepy part really well when he first
he's super creepy. Like it's uncomfortable how creepy he is. That's the thing.
when he first sees her, it's got like the weirdest use of like slow motion. She's walking up and her scarf is blowing in the wind.
And he catches it.
Yeah,
and
like
then
super dramatically.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes. It's like a telenovela. Like, like he catches the scarf and the camera like zooms in a little bit on him. It's like, it's so weird.
There are parts of this where I do feel like John Woo was trying to mimic De Palma, especially with the zoom ins and like the camera movements and stuff. Which, like, appreciate.
Yeah, it's just too much at one time. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's just weird all around. See, I always see people say that this is like John Woo turned up to 10, but I don't agree.
No,
it doesn't feel like a John Woo movie to me until like the last quarter or so.
Yeah, it's really the scene in the
like the bunker thing.
Yeah, whatever it is where they make the chimera. Like that sequence is super. It's super John Woo.
That scene to me, it's that feels like Michael Bay to me. But
that's fair.
He does this thing that John Woo does in a ton of movies where there's like the plot device thing, which in this, like the MacGuffin, which is the virus, since on the floor. People keep shooting at it.
Yeah.
And the leader of the bad guy is like, stop shooting.
Stop shooting.
He does that in Broken Arrow. I think he does it in Face Off. He does it in a bunch of stuff.
That is a John Woo thing. You're absolutely right.
It's funny. But like,
I didn't think
the action scenes after that, when they're in the bunker in Sydney, that's where it gets super John Woo. Like,
man,
he takes out the very first guy. He does like a little combo to him, and like a flip axe kick that goes in slow motion.
See that, and like the blowing down the door, and then like the one bird flies in, like, and he walks by and like staring at him.
And then he's hiding in the hallway. And the one dove is like,
and it flies out.
Position away. I actually like that.
Yeah, me too. That's the thing. Like, once it gets really John Woo, it's kind of fun. Which, speaking of, one of my favorite scenes in a whole movie is when Hugh brings Ethan back to him, and he's like, this is how you get off your gun, and like shoots him down like sadistically. And then notices the clipped finger, and then the music gets really dramatic, like orchestral, and he pulls off the face, and he realizes that it's actually Hugh, and he like screams. He's like,
and Ethan is just like looking at it.
Yeah, and he just runs away. Like, which, speaking of his clothes, the clothes that he's wearing, you could tell this came after Matrix. Because he looks like Neo.
I was gonna say
this is a last very sequence in the movie.
Matrix vibe.
Yes, like they went super Matrixy in the last half of this. Like all the cool kicks and everything. Like,
yeah, I think that's why the action was ramped up, and the slow motion. I don't think of that type of slow motion as like a John Woo thing.
No, it's Matrix. It's all just Matrix. Like extremely,
especially like the gun straps across his
Yes, that's exactly it.
Looks like Neo's outfit when he's on the roof.
He looks exactly like Neo, just in a short jacket instead of a long duster jacket. Like, that's the only difference. But otherwise, he looks exactly like Neo. Like, also, the music of this movie by Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
which there's a couple of times where you hear it and you're like, oh, that's Hans Zimmer, and then otherwise it's just the Matrix soundtrack where it's like like the whole time.
Well, it's funny because I feel like the music in this is more like the Matrix 2 soundtrack.
Interesting.
Like, especially because the music that plays when they're on the motorcycle chase reminds me of the highway chase.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like guitar and bass.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
The music overall in this is strange because
it's really
it's
of its time. That's the thing.
See, I don't know if I agree.
No?
Like, it's just kind of forgettable. Like, the parts that are of its time were like Limp Bizkit, and then like they use some Metallica. But it's not like song. It's not as in your face as I remembered. I'm totally fine with that version of the music. It's still like my least favorite rendition, but I don't think it's bad.
I think it's the worst rendition. It's not good. I don't think it's terrible, but it's not good. Oh boy, this movie is so interesting.
It is. So the action scenes, I feel like a lot of them don't work for me because they're really close up, so you don't see the action a lot.
Yeah.
Except for at the end when they're fist fighting each other.
Everything.
I actually like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they start to do like the flip kicks and stuff, which are just
But that's the best hair moment is when like Ethan does like the flip kick like from the ground and like knocks him down, and then the hair swooshes in after him, and he like does like this combat stance.
I do like that moment. Like that looks good. But like at the end of the fight, at the end of the fight, he does like a similar thing where he does like the flip kick and like kicks him in the back of the head and like sends him flying.
Oh boy!
But they focus on it in slow motion for so long, it's distracting.
So
like
long.
Ethan's just staring, and then just Ambrose flying through the air.
Especially like after Ethan's like landed, and Ambrose is still flying in the air. Like, it's a weird.
Can you hear my cat, by the way?
I just did right now, actually. Yeah.
It's driving me crazy. One sec. I'm going to put him in the other room.
Nah, you're fine. Huh.
All right.
Did you see the thing about the first trailer for this movie? It's on the Wikipedia page.
That is before Pokemon?
Yeah. I totally forgot that, but that is absolutely true. That's where I saw the first trailer for it. It was in front of Pokemon, the first movie. I totally remember that. And being like, wow, that looks awesome.
I don't think I saw the first 3 in theaters, and I don't know why.
I didn't see 2 in theaters. I saw it. I saw like the day it came out on VHS. Like we rented it like the day it came out.
Number 1, I was too young. I guess
when I was too young,
like 8.
Yeah, I was 6.
2. I guess I just wasn't. So there's like a time period where I disliked Tom Cruise, and I don't know why.
No, hey, I was right there with you, and I don't know why. I think it might be because of this movie, actually.
Mine just like definitely comes before this. Like, I thought he was a huge weirdo in real life, so I didn't want to see his movie.
Interesting. Is it because of our parents? Because I know my parents, like,
no.
My mom has no love for Tom Cruise, and I feel like that influenced me for a while.
My mom and my sisters liked him. Okay. So I was like the opposite situation. Okay. I think, what year did Magnolias come out?
That was 99?
I think that may have been what put me off.
Okay, I totally get that. Yeah, because I think that was 99. Because I think that came out around the same time as Eyes Wide Shut. Because Eyes Wide Shut was 99.
I think that, and also I thought he was such a good bad guy in Interview with the Vampire that he freaked me out.
He is a good bad guy in that. That's fair.
So I liked Ving Rhames in the first one.
Yes,
but I actually like him a lot more in this.
I like him a lot more
This
in
is-
this. Yeah.
I feel like he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's getting tired from running.
Yeah.
He's freaked out.
Exactly. Just from the first time we see him and he steps in the poop, it's really funny. It's like I spent $800 on these Gucci shoes. Like,
Also, Billy Bird is one of the worst characters in this entire series.
is the worst.
He doesn't do much.
No.
Except for scream.
He doesn't need
have an
to be
accent.
there. That's exactly it. He's there just to have an accent. Like, what's the point?
He's the pilot, I guess.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is way more interesting as the pilot in the next one. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers rocks in Mission Impossible 3.
So, what are your 2 favorite performances and 2 least favorite?
Tom Cruise is kind of a cheat. But Tom Cruise, like, I think he pretty much rocks in this movie. Like, I mean, he's just good in these. Like, this is the one he's the worst in, and I still think he's good. And honestly, that's hard. I might say the guy who plays the Doctor, he's pretty good. No, Richard Roxburgh. That's Houston. He's awesome. He's awesome in it. Like, he sells that role perfectly.
I was gonna say Ving Rhames and him. I just like them
Yeah,
both.
Ving Rhames is really good.
The Doctor is actually one of my least favorite.
Really? Oh, I think he sells exactly what he needs to.
So that's my problem.
he does
That's what he
exactly
is
what
in
he needs to do
every
in this.
movie and show he's in. He's just like a Russian person. He's either a mobster, a scientist, or something.
He's Croatian, Zach. How dare you? Wait, he's in X-Men First Class? Oh, he's Grigorovich in Deathly
Yeah.
Hollows.
Yeah.
Whoa! Oh, yeah, and the Russian general in First Class. Right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. No, you're right. Okay, I get
He's just one of those guys who picks to be this same person and everything.
it. Yeah, to just be a basic role. No, I get it.
Then my other least favorite performance is
Billy.
yeah, he's real
Like,
bad.
Billy is one of my least favorite performances. Unfortunately, Tandy Newton is one of them too. Like, she's weird.
I think she's fine with what she has. She just has one of the worst characters I've seen in a very long time.
It's a terrible character.
She's straight up just an object. Like
Yeah.
Hopkins and Scott say gross things about her and women in general. It made me cringe real
it
hard.
is so gross. Yeah. Ugh.
And like, there's even a scene where Doug Ray Scott's character is, what's he say? He's like, yeah, she may be up to something, but I can get a few rides out of it or something. That's really
Yeah,
gross.
that is exactly it. Yeah, it's the scene with Hugh
Yeah.
where he's like she's up to he's like, oh well, I mean, even if I get some sex out of her, like at least I got a
So
ride
gross.
out of it. Like, oh, it's so weird and gross.
And then
Oh,
when he's showing her the bedroom, he's just staring at her, and the camera lingers on his face.
when he's like trying on the dress and she's like clearly changing, and the camera just zooms on his face like, because he's like creaming himself.
He's doing this like thing where his tongue is bouncing between his teeth.
It's so gross.
Again, not his fault, I don't think. It's just,
No, it's just nasty.
and the last like third of the movie, she's just walking around Sydney trying to find a place
exists.
to kill
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if I don't save you, just kill yourself. That was the plan.
That was the whole plan. Yeah, like how he tells everybody, like, no, we don't have to worry about it if we can't save her. He's like, what? He's like, no, she'll kill herself. And then it's just like, okay.
Then,
so
I hate
that's
that
it,
he
huh?
I hate that he meets up with her at the end.
Ugh, yeah.
It's weird. Their
Yeah.
whole
That
relationship is so
is
forced and fake.
dumb. If anything, I hope she comes back in like number 7 or something as the bad guy. I think that'd be really cool.
Do you know if they wanted her back for Rogue Nation? Because I know was it?
No, it was Paula Patton and
well, because they were trying to get like everybody.
Yeah, they were trying to get everybody. I don't know about her, but I know Paula Patton definitely, and Maggie Q.
Yeah,
they've tried to get them back for Rogue Nation and for Fallout.
It's funny to me that Wallace in this, I forget the actor's name. He's like
William
hacker
Mapother. Yeah.
I love that. That's Ethan from Lost.
Yes.
And then J.J. Abrams did Lost, and then he does the next one.
Yep. He's the through line. Didn't he also play a similar role in another spy movie?
Yes.
Was it a Bond movie?
It's like a more recent one, right? I don't think it was a Bond.
Let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about how the movie opens on a voiceover. It's like, sometimes in the pursuit of finding the perfect hero, you come across the villain, Chimera. And then they wind up playing the same thing again, like 5 minutes later.
See, that's one of the reasons I think that 80-minute thing is true. I think there's an intro sequence that shows Ambrose and Hunt doing something together and showing the first time he takes his place. Because it's just a weird thing to throw in. They're like, he was a stand-in for you 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. It's really weird.
I feel like that was a chunk of what was cut out, as well as some Naya and Ethan scenes.
But is there more?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I actually do think that's part of it too, is them. I feel like Brendan Gleeson and that guy probably...
There has to be more Brendan Gleeson in the movie. There's no way that there isn't.
Yeah.
Because even for the year 2000, I feel like Brendan Gleeson. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that he's there for like 10 minutes, and that's it. Anyway, yeah, if you had to rate Mission Impossible 2 out of 5, out of
10
Chimeras.
Let's do 10 because we did.
Did we? Okay, so out of 10 Chimeras.
I want to go like 7.5, but I'm going to give it a 6.5 because it treats Tandy Newton so poorly, and also the action scenes get to me.
That's fair.
So 6.5. It's like a...
Yeah, I'd give it a 6. Like, it's a lot better than I remembered it being, which is good. Like, I vilified this thing in my head for so long. Like,
I'll say, like, when I rewatched it, it wasn't like painful at all. It was actually
it's
pretty
like
fun.
It's dumb. I had a good time taking notes during it, and that's always a good sign for a movie.
It's just the action needs to be better, the story needs to be better, and Naya needs to be an actual
Naya needs to be a thing. Yeah.
Those are my big problems. I don't know what positives is I would give it, except for like good hair.
Really good hair. Really, really good hair. And you know what? Good suits on Luther. Luther looks real good in this movie. I really appreciate it's not even like a joke. It's just kind of funny when they're in the Biosite building and like Luther's trying to get the message to him that Naya's in the building, and like the van gets exploded, and then that's when they all start attacking Ethan. And then he finally gets him. He's like, Naya's in the building. Do you copy? He's like, thanks. Like, that's a pretty funny joke.
I did like that. And one of the worst jokes in this movie is when Luther runs up to give Ethan the camera.
Oh yeah, and that's right at the you turned around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like awkward but funny.
It's not funny.
Just
it's
awkward.
Weird. Yeah, you turned around. What are you going to do? Spank me? And he just shows up. He's just looking at him. He's like, camera. And then he has to run back. That's funny.
What would you have added to Ambrose to make him a better character, better villain, I guess.
I guess a reason that he doesn't like Ethan Hunt and a reason that he's going rogue. We never got any reasons for either of those.
Well, yeah.
Other than he hated pretending to smile.
Yeah, him going rogue, I think they give enough of a reason. He's just
an ass.
But he's a psycho, and they explain that decently without going too far into it. But yeah, the Ethan thing.
Like he has such hatred for him, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like there must have been a scene. Like I feel like they were working together, and he goes off and he kills a bunch of people. Then basically Ethan tattles on him, gets him in trouble or something, or he kicks the crap out of him. Or something. I don't know.
Just give me a reason. What about you? What would you add?
I would add a scene to show that he's capable. Like
that's true. I think the opening's supposed to prove that. That like they.
I don't think that does it because all he does is he kills an old man who's dying anyway from a virus.
Yeah.
Like his plan, he pulls off his plan, which I like, and I really like in the middle how he counteracts Ethan's plan.
Yeah,
I like that.
Oh, I love that. I love the dual plans scene.
Yeah.
I think that is a great scene. That shows that he's competent.
Yeah,
like after reviewing Ethan Hunt, which IMF. I have, and it shows that he's IMF. I love that sequence. That's great.
I just wanted him to personally do something.
That's fair.
Like the bad guys just don't do much. Like to Ethan's team at least. Like they plant that bomb on the van, doesn't stop Luther.
No.
They
somehow.
They don't they don't exactly get the virus the way they wanted. I don't know. They're not good bad guys.
They're not good bad guys.
Their plan is real dumb.
Yeah.
Stock.
Yeah. It's weird, but whatever.
I think that's it.
All I got. Yeah.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time for J.J. Abrams' Mission Impossible 3
directorial debut.
Yeah. First. Yeah. They picked him like straight up off Alias and Lost, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What year was that one again?
2006.
So much time between these early ones.
Isn't that interesting? There's a lot of time between like the first 4.
Yeah. It shows
honestly between all of them, because I mean like 96, 2000, 2006, 2011, 2015, and 2018. There's a lot of time between all of them.
I think like 3 years I think is normal, but it's interesting because it shows how like the moviescape is altering. These movies have been around for 2 decades,
and that's why I think this one really doesn't fit. Like it's very much of the year 2000, and it doesn't fit any of the others. Like at least all the others, like they kind of have a third line. Also, like this is the only one that like you don't need to watch. Like it adds nothing. Like all the other movies, like at least introduce a character to the franchise or something and stick around. Like this one, there's no through line. You never hear from any of these people again, except for Luther and Ethan.
Yeah. And he's got a wife by the next one.
Exactly. He's got a fiance. Like, like, so that this didn't work out. Like, you don't need this movie at all.
Like story-wise, this doesn't add anything.
No.
But it does add stuff to the franchise overall. Like, it's starts like the big action set pieces, the crazy physical stunts that Tom Cruise will do.
That is true.
It leans more towards action, like hard, rather than spy stuff.
No, you're right.
But yeah, like story-wise, you can skip it completely.
Yeah, big time.
First one too. I mean, like all it does is introduce Luther and Ethan.
Well, it also sets up Ethan being the leader of an IMF team. Because before he was just a member, you know.
Yeah, but still, it's just like you expect that from Tom Cruise already. He's going to be the leader.
That's true. I guess it kind of sets up like his distrust in everyone and why he would prefer to do most things himself.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a thing that carries over into all the other movies. Like that's why he winds up going rogue all the time, is because he prefers to do things by himself. And that's because, you know, his first team, he got burned. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of the episode.
Yeah. All right. We'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Later, guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode on the Subject. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it, subscribe, rate us on whatever podcast source you're using. For more content or to reach out to us, follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at On The Subject. And for more details, links are in our show notes. Thanks again.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer of Vandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.